And welcome back again. You're listening to Breakthrough Entertainment live on 1480 AM KPHX in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Dave. And there's Eric, and with us still, Kim, my oldest daughter, of course, works in the field of helping people on the autism spectrum. And that's incredibly important. Whether it's in the past or today, even though it's diagnosed, it's more common these days, but you said they've changed how they really determine that. So, and we'll talk a little bit more after our guest, but my friend Sean Burke is traveling the country. Sean, how are you?
Hey, Dave. How are you? Good to talk to you again.
Yeah, very nice talking with you. Boy, you've been... Again, for any new listeners, reacquaint the old listeners, you've been traveling around the country. You're the author of How to Press America's Reset Button, a simple, safe, legal, and effective method to regain control of our government. So I'll tell you, it's a great book, by the way. I have it. It's practical. It makes sense. And tell us where, let's see, last time I think you were in Texas.
I think I was in Texas, yeah.
So where
now
are you? Where are you
now?
now?
I tell you, I'm in Laconia, New Hampshire, of all places.
Wow, you drove a long way from Texas to New Hampshire.
It wasn't really intended. There is a radio show host that does a show in the mornings out of the Manchester area that I met up in the primaries, and he and I do an update literally every week on Fridays, and so we've done now 15. It's kind of an episode by episode. He follows me around the country, similar to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And he was going to come to what's called Laconia Fest. Laconia has the oldest running and second largest bike rally week in the nation, behind the Sturgis bike rally. Anybody that knows motorcycles knows the Sturgis is huge. Laconia Bike Week is happening right now in Laconia, and it's also huge. And there's this music festival that they're having here. So the gentleman that I talked to on the radio, he's here. He asked me to come up and help him and help me get exposure. So Nelson, so if you go to our website, resetourgov.org, Nelson is the name of the motorhome that I drive around in, and because that's the name of George Washington's favorite horse during the Revolutionary War, so I've named him Nelson. So anyway, Nelson is this big, huge, 40-foot-long, gorgeous motorhome wrapped in blue with stars and some kind of flag look on the front. And so anyway, I'm up here kind of letting everybody use Nelson as a base while we're being exposed to all the people going to this festival. So it's kind of I'm helping them, they're helping our cause. So that's where I am. I'm way up in New Hampshire. I tell you, I wasn't planning on coming. He called me. He talked me into it. He's a great guy, and I drove from Ohio all the way to New Hampshire. So here I am.
That's amazing. That's quite a drive. And so did you get to stop much, or you just sort of went straight through probably?
No,
I'm sure.
I'll tell you, I can't. When I plan my travel, I try not to do more than 5 hours a day, because in a car, I can drive 8 hours, no problem. But driving a 40-foot-long motorhome just wears me out. So 5 hours is about all I do. I drive for 5 hours. I stay in Walmart parking lots or Sam's Club or Cracker Barrels. Those are the main ones that I stay in overnight. And I get some work done also, because I'm also working as I go. And so I just kind of made my way over here. It's actually, I got to tell you, when I have a motorhome now, the country is much smaller than you think. You can get quite a ways in a few days. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, that is sort of cool. And, you know, so since we've talked when you were in Texas, I don't know, could be 3 weeks ago, maybe a month, and things have changed. I mean, we had Feel the Burn. We still sort of feel the burn a little bit, but I think he's burning out a bit. We had Ted Cruz still around. We had John Kasich. We're not sure why he was around, but we still had him. Now we have the Donald. So politically, things are now sort of, well, I almost said set, but they're not necessarily set, because I think on either side. I mean, the Stop Trump movement, Bernie's going all the way to the convention. So politically, it's really interesting. I know your book's not a political thing, but we do need to reset it. But in context to what's happening, how do we apply your book?
Right. Well, first of all, the book is nonpartisan, so it has nothing to do with the parties, and
Right.
we're a nonprofit and all that. So, but I can comment on the presidential race. There's no question Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee, and to me, there's no question that Hillary Clinton will be the Democratic nominee. The question I have is, and I think the smartest move Hillary Clinton can do is make Bernie Sanders her vice presidential running mate, because between the two of them, she's already brought up that Bill Clinton, her husband, the former president, will have some position in her presidency. So Bill Clinton is so loved. As I've traveled around the country, I talk to people a lot, and I've spoken to people who are in favor of Hillary, and I've asked them why. Anybody who says whatever person, I ask why, and I'll say many have responded because of Bill, that maybe Bill will advise her. I'll tell you, the love of Bill Clinton still resonates strong in the country. So she's smart to bring him up in the conversation. So she's already going to put him in her administration, and if she brought Bernie Sanders as her vice presidential running mate, I think there wouldn't be a chance that Donald Trump could do anything. But on the Republican side, it's going to be interesting. You know, I'm going to both conventions, so it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. There is definitely a Stop Trump movement, but you know, I don't know what that's going to do at this point. He is he's got the votes. So he'll be the nominee. So you know, we're going to have a Clinton-Trump race, whether we like it or not, as we go forward.
Yeah, that's interesting. And if Bernie is the VP, wow, that brings all his supporters, quite a few, by the way, and that would be interesting combo. There's been talk about Elizabeth Warren being VP, and I don't know. I'm not sure what I think about that, but I have to think about that, I guess. But applying your book to this practice, I guess in a way, in a interesting way, I guess. From it's not a political commentary, but Donald has pretty much created a movement. So has Bernie on the other side. Very passionate people about wanting a change, and your book about reset, and there's something about Bernie and Donald that they do. It seems like want to reset Hollywood. I mean Hollywood.
Well,
Washington. I call it Hollywood because that's what it feels like.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, for sure, Donald Trump is pushing that all the way, and also Bernie, even though he's a senator, but he's certainly anti-establishment. I think that's the whole view. In the country, everywhere I go, Dave, people, when I tell them that I started this because I was concerned about the national debt and how it'll affect my kids, there's no one, especially those that have children, that don't nod their head immediately. Yeah. Everybody is concerned about the national debt and where we're going. And really the way we apply my book is we go after Congress. Congress is the one that has the purse strings on our country. They're the ones that approve the budget. And we need to make sure that Congress is working for us and not for special interests, for lobbyists. They so need money that they have to, and I almost don't blame them. The system is set up that they need money so badly that I don't know if you saw the 60 Minutes piece. About a month ago, I don't know if we spoke about it, but a month ago there was a piece on 60 Minutes from a congressman out of Florida who went on and said that when he got to Congress, his party chairman told him that he had to go across the street and spend 30 hours a week fundraising in a phone bank for the party and for him. Now we're talking 30 hours a week of fundraising is what they're being required to do by their own parties. So they need so much money to win the next election that their attention is on where the money comes from. But I think we put pressure on them as voters that say, hey, if you're not listening to us, we're taking you out. We're going to vote you out, and we're going to put someone else in new. And if that person who's coming in new isn't listening to us, we're going to take them out. And we put the pressure on from us that if you don't pay attention to us as the citizens, the voters, constitutionally sanctioned to put you there, you work for us, then we're going to throw you out, so you need to pay attention to us, and let's pay less attention to the money interest. So that's really what the only solution I've come up with, Dave, is the only thing we can do as voters, we can't tell our elected officials what to think, what to say, what to do. The only thing we can do is give them a job or take the job away. That's our constitutional right is we place them in office, they work for us, but we can't tell them what to do. So the only thing we can do is give them a job or take it away. And I say we take them all away. We take all the jobs away across the country in Congress if they're not listening to us. And in my case, if they're not going to do something about the overspending that's going to affect my kids as we keep going, and me probably as well.
I totally agree. And, and your book talks about that. There is power with the people, but the people have to get involved. They have to vote. They have to understand. They have to look at it really from almost like a management point of view. You evaluate, are these people doing a good job? Are they controlling it? It's out of control spending, so obviously, no, they're not doing a good job. So that's what I love about your book. It's a simple, practical way for people to get involved, and it's sort of sad when people lose faith, lose hope in their own, government and their own representatives. It's sort of sad because if people got involved and they remain passionate, we can thank, I guess, Donald and Bernie about igniting quite a large part of the population. They have ignited them, and basically on the fact that, hey, they don't want to put up with this either anymore. They have different views, of course, but they both think it's corrupt, and they're right, and they both think that it has to be a big, big change and it has to be a non-politician. That may or may not be right, but at least that's what the public thinks.
Well, as I travel around the country, you're absolutely right. People are passionate everywhere I go that they're fed up. Everybody that I've talked to are fed up. They want a significant change. And I'll say to any listeners who don't normally vote or are thinking of skipping it. I've talked to too many people who are so fed up with what's going on, they're thinking of skipping voting. But and in the last election, 140 million people who could have voted did not, which is frightening. It's the lowest in 73 years. It's the lowest. The thing is, all those people have so much power. If they're frustrated, then the thing you actually do is not opt out. This is not the time you opt out. You actually opt in. You go to the polls. And if you're upset with what's going on in government, then vote them out. Yeah. That's the simple thing, is use your vote. Vote against the person who's your manager now. The person in place now, let's call them your management team in Washington that we send there to operate our government. Throw them out and give someone new, regardless of party, give someone new a chance. And if they don't do what you like in 2 years, if we don't start seeing some changes, throw them out too. But don't, it's so common to want to opt out. I'm not going to participate. And in many things in life, that's the way to go, is I'm not going to participate. But this is different. If you don't participate, it falls to smaller and smaller group of people who will control our government. So we need to all actively get involved and state what we want. And that's what I'm really trying to push as I go around, as I realize, wow, if we opt out, we first of all have no say. We can't complain because we didn't even vote. So I'm encouraging people to at least get in and vote.
No question. And it's such a great book, How to Press America's Reset Button.
Thanks, Dave.
Oh, you're more than welcome, Sean Burke. How did they get your book, by the way?
Well, it's on Amazon. It's both in print and it's also digital on Kindle. If you're an iTunes fan, it's digital on iTunes. And, in fact, I just did an audio version, Dave, that we're going to release in about a week. I went into the studio myself and I read the book. It got prompted. There was a sight impaired, a blind woman who called into one of the radio stations that I've been on, and she wanted to know if I had an audio book, and I've been thinking about it, and that kind of pushed me over the edge. So I went in and I've done the audio book, and we're going to release it in about a week. So there's many ways to, and you can actually walk into any bookstore. Some of them might carry it. I don't know who's carrying it, but they minimally can order it right there. They have it in their computer. It's easy to get.
Excellent. Wow. Well, we really enjoy what you're doing. I mean, it's an important part of your life, and you're affecting the other people as well, their lives for the better, being the voice to really make a difference in the world, and especially, of course, America, the United States today. So we'll have you on again. I think you might be traveling through Phoenix. We'll get you in studio when you come to Phoenix. But we'll have you on. We'll check in every so often with you.
Anytime you want to check in, I'd be happy to talk to you, Dave. It's fun. And also, absolutely, when I come through Phoenix, I'd love to stop.
Oh, definitely. No question about it. Sean Burke, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you, Dave. Talk to you soon.
Okay, and that's Sean Burke, How to Press America's Reset Button. Very, very good book. Not taking any particular side, but just, hey, vote and pay attention. A lot of people don't pay attention. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Eric?
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, say, that was a good one. He's so funny, isn't he?
He is funny.
Have you ever met Eric?
I did
Yes,
long
we have.
ago.
Long time ago. So, anyway, there's, about 5 minutes left. Yeah, wow, I'm good at this. I said 5, and he gave me the high five.
I was waving.
Oh, he was waving to me.
Actually, he was swatting a fly. You just didn't notice that.
That's right. And but we mentioned it earlier, the tragic, death of,
Christina.
Yeah, Christina
Grimmie.
and she's been on her show, and you had some personal,
Yeah.
somewhat closeness to the family.
Yeah, my good friend of mine is her aunt and is obviously pretty devastated
Yeah, I mean,
by the whole thing.
Her brother tackled the guy.
yeah, that's what I understand.
Yeah,
I mean, can
he
you?
tackled him.
It's just unimaginable.
Watching your sister get shot to
Yeah,
death.
I mean, it's something you can't even imagine. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, it's just.
No, it's very sad.
I don't know. There's just so many things like this happening. Has it always been this way, or is the world just getting worse? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know. The media is pretty prevalent in society
True.
today, so you hear things faster and from more than one place at a time.
Right.
News travels a lot faster these days, but I really don't think the world used to be like this.
I don't remember it this tragic. I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of tragedies, right? A lot of problems.
Endless.
Yeah, but this, man, and she was such just not only a great talent, but a great human being.
And
Yeah,
she
she had a really beautiful heart.
She posted a video on Twitter just hours before her concert.
Oh.
Saying, "Hey, can't wait to see you at my concert.
Oh, wow.
Please come out."
I mean, it's hard to really, it's hard to really express anything.
And we don't know why the guy did it, and we probably never will because he shot himself.
Yeah, it's, and then, of course, I mean, the family is where they're going to be living with this for, forever, actually.
She was signing autographs, and he just walked up.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, and shot a rapid fire, like 3 shots, rapid fire. Yeah.
He was carrying 2 handguns, several clips, and a big knife.
And a hunting knife.
I mean, it just...
I mean, the brother tackling him could have definitely potentially saved
other
lives.
people.
So they're calling the brother a hero. I mean, I'm sure he's, just devastated at this point. But I'm sure he probably just had the instinct to protect his sister and protect, what he saw happening.
I mean, this has been a tough week. 2 natural deaths, obviously, Muhammad Ali and Mr. Hockey, of course, Gordie Howe passed away yesterday. If you're a hockey fan, and even not, I think most people.
I know the name.
Yeah,
and I'm not a hockey fan.
And he was 88, and of course Muhammad Ali was 74. But when you see a
22-year-old,
death of violence, where these were more Muhammad Ali, Parkinson's disease and so on, but it's you never can make sense of that. You just can't. And then I think people will bring up the gun issue again, and I don't know. I don't know what to say. I think it's a psychological problem in the world. Wow.
Well, I mean, for people like that, even if they don't have a gun, they're going to find some way to commit their
So there's got to be some mental health stuff going on in this country and maybe the world. Anyway, that wraps it up. Thank you for all the guests. Kim, we'll have you back when we have Genevieve back, of course.
Awesome.
Genevieve Goings. And Eric, thank you as always. And we'll see everyone next week.